feels like home to me, and I'm going back. I'm so glad I'm right here where I belong. Together we can make a difference. Sharing a little every day. Together, we're gonna reach the top of that mountain. Somehow, we just gotta find a way. Together, I know we're gonna make the sunshine. We're gonna find a way to make the world change, and we're gonna stay together and be a part of the one and the same. Together, there's power in the feeling, power in the words and meanings. Together, when we're together, I know we can, 'cause this is our place. Come on in. Our place, so glad you're here, right? Our place, everybody's welcome. We see God on every face. Our place, sit right down. Our place, love lives here. Our place, everybody's welcome. We see God on every face. Aren't you glad you found your way back home to a family of friends where we know we are not alone? I bet you know this one. We come together, yeah, we come together in the name of love. Can you sing with me? 1, 2, ready? We come together, yes, we come together in the name of love. From every walk of life, every creed, every color, in friendship we unite. Bless God in each other. 1, 2, we come together in the name of love. We come together, yeah. We come together in the name of love. 'Cause this is our place, right here, right now, in the name of love and new dawn and love.
Please join me in prayer. And we know that there's one perfect life that permeates all creation, that becomes what it is, what it loves. And that one perfect life is God, perfect, whole, and complete in form and substance. And each and every beautiful expression of the divine here is made in the image of that power. Each and every person everywhere in the universe is made in that image. And we're so glad to come together today to celebrate our oneness. And I'm grateful to be able to speak these words in honor of that. I know that everything that takes place today here will be absolutely perfect in every way, and give thanks for all who come together to make this service possible. I know that as we explore our wholeness, that we will get words of inspiration here that we can use in our daily living practice as Spirit speaks through young Dr. David, as it always does, with a message that has depth, weight, and hope. I give thanks for every expression of the divine that's here in this space to celebrate our oneness with me and release these words into the law where they're already done at the intersection of right here and right now. I let this go, I let it be, and together we affirm, and so it is. Now, it took me a grand total of 4 minutes of hard research to find 3 quotes from our wonderful founder, Ernest Holmes, the Honorable Dr. Ernest Holmes. And as our message says what we believe about wholeness, I found some quotes that I thought were kind of in line with that. The first quote, Ernest says, "I believe in the unity of all life and that the highest God and the innermost God are the one God." His second quote, "We must be born out of the belief in externalities into the belief of inner realities, out of the belief that we are separated from God and into the belief that we are part of a unitary wholeness." And our third quote says that when we learn to do this, we will have gone a long way on the road toward that day when the families of the world will sit together in common counsel, bound by the invisible chains of love and unity.
Well, good afternoon, New Dawn. Good afternoon and welcome. And contrary to popular belief, this is not a World Cup Finals watch party. So if you're here for that, sorry, you might be a little bit disappointed. But we wish all the best to the teams from Argentina and Spain. The royal family from Spain is going to be attending, the king, the queen, and 2 of their children. And Argentina is the defending world champion. They have arguably the best player in the world in his 6th World Cup. He may or may not choose to retire, since Argentina will be hosting the finals for the World Cup in 4 years. So stay tuned for all things soccer. Before we get into our message today, one of my guiding principles is never postpone joy and never postpone gratitude. And we have some beloveds that we would like to acknowledge. John and Debbie, if you would join me, please. If you've enjoyed our new crystal bowl, this is a gift of these beautiful people. So please. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your love of our community. We adore you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And so, friends, on this day, this 3rd Sunday in July, we continue on our theme of whole no matter what. Just saying that invites us into any number of things, right? Into the challenges, into the opportunities, into up against my scratchiness, where I can always know it for you, and on occasion, I may not always know it for myself. So whole no matter what. And today we dive a little bit deeper into what we believe about wholeness. And before we get into that, I just wanted to acknowledge, I wanted to share with you as the calendar changes and we start with August 1, that will mark 1 year that I have been with you as your spiritual director. And I just wanted to take a moment and let you know that Rick and I have been so moved by the love, by the affection, by the support, by the outpouring of friendship, not just as leaders or as spiritual folk who come to join you on this path, but as family. So we are extraordinarily grateful for the love and for your presence in our lives, and that just means more than I can truly express. So thank you. Thank you. It has been an honor to serve, and we look forward to continuing on as long as you will have us. So I know Rick is adorable. I know I'm questionable, and I'm grateful for your patience. So what I have seen, friends, what I have seen being from this particular vantage point over the past year, I've seen people from different backgrounds, people from different races, from different socioeconomic classes, from different politics, from different personalities, different life experiences, all coming together to sit, to talk, to eat, to pray, to occasionally sing, and to grow together and to love together. And the world feels, as the world feels increasingly divided, I am so grateful for this enclave. We know that it starts from within. We know that it starts one person at a time. And that is the energy, that is the hope, that is the desire that we as a community continue to take to the world. We live in a time when division has become easy. It's easy to sort people into categories. Us versus them, wrong versus right, safe versus dangerous, worthy versus unworthy. And our spiritual practice asks us to do more. It asks us to see beyond appearances. It asks us to see something truly profound, that no one is outside of the divine. Now, when I am with you all, that's lovely and that's very easy. And when I'm going about my daily life and somebody cuts me off in traffic, that's when, pun intended, the rubber meets the road, right? That no one is outside of the divine. So that's what it means when we ask today's question, what would it mean to truly believe we are one global family? One of my favorite New Thought authors, he offers a lot and he's a great author, is Sharif Abdullah. Sharif wrote this book in 1999, Creating a World That Works for All. And the introductory essay is offered by none other than the former president, the first president of the independent Czech Republic, Václav Havel. And it just really speaks to my heart. I bought it early on, worked with Sharif at an event at the University of Denver. He autographed this particular copy for me in 2001. And there's just one thing. I've earmarked it, I've highlighted it, I've got stuff throughout. There's just one piece, and it's actually from the preface that I wanted to share with you. In the midst of this unprecedented disharmony, we have an opportunity that may not come again for another millennium, to craft a society that actually reflects our deepest values. In a world seemingly going in a million different directions at once, we can and must choose a different direction, a focus, an intention. At no other time has it been more clear. Our future is our choice. was written 26 years ago, and pretty applicable to have what we have going on today. So in his writing then, Sharif reminds us that the goal isn't simply to build a better life for ourselves, but to participate in creating a world that works for all. And during this first year with you, I've caught glimpses of that world right here at New Dawn. Every act of kindness, every welcoming embrace, every prayer shared, every person seen and valued moves us one step closer to that vision. And that is what leads us to today's question. So when I share, if you would respond, I recognize and honor that I am part of one global family. I recognize and honor that I am part of one global family. Love widens the circle.
I recognize and honor that I am part of one global family.
Belonging includes everyone.
I recognize and honor that I am part of one global family.
We rise together.
I recognize and honor that I am part of one global family.
Beautiful. So the first thought that I want to invite you into today, my friends, is that, and we know this, that hidden beliefs shape who we include. Now, I bet if I were to take a poll, most of us sincerely believe that we are loving and caring and inclusive and fair. And yet, each and every one of us carries hidden beliefs formed by culture, family, religion, history, personal experience that shape how we not only perceive ourselves, but how we perceive others. And these beliefs influence who feels familiar and who feels foreign, who feels safe, who feels threatening, who feels worthy of care. Often these judgments happen so quickly we barely notice them. If we are serious about creating a world that works for everyone, we must become willing to examine the beliefs we did not consciously choose, part of the race consciousness that we just absorb. Belonging begins with awareness. Science of Mind teaches that consciousness creates experience. Ernest Holmes reminds us that thought is creative, whether it is conscious, unconscious, or subconscious. Hidden beliefs matter because they shape the lens through which we experience humanity. If consciousness is narrowed by fear or bias or separation, our experience reflects that limitation. But spiritual truth tells us something greater. Spiritual truth tells us all people are individualized expressions of the one life. No one exists outside of that divine presence. Spiritual growth asks us to identify false beliefs rooted in separation and replace them with spiritual truth rooted in unity. So I was reminded of a story of a teacher, and I know so many in this community have had that experience in one form or another. A teacher who asked her students to write down the foods that they liked and the foods that they disliked. And as you can imagine, as they would be with adults, the lists were wildly different. One child loved kimchi. Another thought it smelled terrible. One loved curry. Another couldn't imagine being anywhere near it. The teacher smiled and said, "Notice how quickly preference becomes judgment. What begins with food often extends into culture, language, religion, and identity. Sometimes what feels strange to us is simply unfamiliar. It's not wrong. The second thing I would invite you into is belonging requires more than inclusion. This was a growing edge for me and continues to be. Belonging is deeper than inclusion. Inclusion says, you may come in. Belonging says, you matter here. Belonging means people do not merely occupy space, they are valued within that space. Too often, human beings create belonging by defining outsiders, us versus them. We strengthen us by diminishing them. That is the ancient pattern of othering. Othering makes compassion optional. It reduces complexity and it reduces nuance. It shrinks humanity. Belonging does the opposite. Belonging expands the heart. Holmes writes that we cannot exclude anything from divine inclusion. That is a powerful spiritual challenge because it means our theology must be bigger than our preferences. If God excludes no one, spiritual maturity requires us to continually examine who we exclude in our own lives, whether emotionally, relationally, socially, or spiritually. New Thought teaches unity not as abstraction, but as lived practice. We do not truly know divine love until our arms are around all of humanity. Unity without embodiment is merely philosophy. Years ago, someone told me about attending a community event where everyone was friendly. People smiled, they greeted him, they said all the right things, yet he left feeling profoundly alone. Later, he said something unforgettable. They welcomed me into the room, but nobody made space for me in the circle. That is the difference. Inclusion invites presence. Belonging invites participation. The third thing I wanted to invite you into, my friends, is bridging honors difference without othering. Please hear this. Belonging does not require sameness. In fact, true belonging makes room for difference. Bridging happens when people come together across meaningful differences without demanding sameness or erasing identity. Bridging says, I do not need to become you. You do not need to become me, but we can still meet in our shared humanity. That requires courage. That requires humility, and it requires curiosity. And perhaps most of all, it requires listening. Bridging is not about winning, it's about understanding. Science of Mind teaches that the one expresses through infinite individuality. Unity is not uniformity. Divine expression is diverse by design. Holmes reminds us that God does not manifest identically in every person. That means diversity is not a problem to solve. It is part of divine creativity. Spiritual maturity allows us to celebrate individuality while remaining rooted in unity. We honor the many without losing the one. A couple of weeks ago, I shared a video of an orchestra, right, of the individual doing work within the orchestra and working with each individual instrument to create the beautiful song at the end. And what that also was an example of, a violin doesn't sound like a trumpet. A flute is not percussion. If every instrument sounded identical, music would become flat and lifeless. So hear this. Harmony is not sameness. Harmony is difference working together in relationship. Human community works the same way. So what that looks like here at New Dawn, my friends, is that we live this teaching in 3 ways. First, we practice welcoming without othering. You are welcome to show up in all of your goodness and gloriousness and your joy, and like me, with more than a few warts, and we love you just the way you are. Second, we practice curiosity instead of certainty. We often go into the place of what else might be true, right? And what if we did this? What if we turned it inside out and backwards? So we remain curious. Third, we practice bridging across difference with compassion. We are not building a community of sameness. We are building a community of spiritual belonging. That is sacred work. So as we move toward a close for today's service, I wanted to share another song that has been a great deal to me over the years. When I was a young cast member in Up With People in my second year, we were traveling in Scandinavia. We were in Sweden and Norway and Finland, and it was winter and it was beautiful and it was really cold. And while we were there, we performed at a refugee camp. And this was the late 70s into the early 80s. So the refugees in that particular camp were of Asian descent: Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia. Many of the families had fled from Southeast Asia and had left behind virtually everything that they had ever known. They were safe, but they were not yet home. They had exchanged one uncertainty for another: a new language, a new culture, a divergently, drastically new climate, and a completely different life. So as we were there performing in this refugee camp, I looked out at the audience and I realized they probably didn't understand a single word of our 2-hour music program in English. But maybe they didn't need to. Love has a language all its own. Connection has a language all its own. Presence has a language all its own. I could feel it moving through the room, as could 100 of my fellow students, fellow learners, and we could feel it coming back to us. So our last song that we closed that show, our community service work with, we sang a song called "Till Everyone Is Home." And I'll never forget standing there singing those words for people who had literally been uprooted from their homes. In that moment, home became something so much bigger than a place on a map. Home became belonging. Home became dignity. Home became the reminder that every person matters. So I want to share that song with you now. And while we sang it as a ballad, just with one soloist and everybody kind of in sync behind them, this is a different interpretation of the song. 40 years later, the words are exactly the same. See if you can get a sense of the feeling that I was doing my best to explain.
Like the sun breaking through the storm that has been.
till everyone is home, till the last soul is fed. There's a roof above their head.
As long as there's someone left out in the cold, as long as there's someone without a place to call their own.
How can there be peace? How can we be free to lay down the load?
We're still on the road till everyone is home.
I can see sunflowers in the window of a tiny one-room shack crowded on a hill.
And nothing can hold down the power of the hope that keeps on growing.
And you know it always will.
Till everyone is home, till everyone is home, till the last soul is fed, and there's a roof above their head.
As long as there's someone left out in the cold, as long as there's someone without a place to call their own.
How can there be peace? How can we be free to lay down the load? We're still on the road till everyone is home.
How can there be peace? How can we be free to lay down the load? Still on the road till everyone.
Till everyone is home, till everyone is home, till the last soul is fed, and there's a roof above his head. How can we be free? How can we be free to lay down the load? Till everyone is home. And so, my friends, our theme this month, whole no matter what. Perhaps that's what wholeness ultimately is. Not waiting until life is perfect, not waiting until every problem is solved, but recognizing that beneath every difference, every fear, every loss, and every circumstance, there is something in each of us that never stopped belonging. May this song remind us that our work is not finished until everyone knows they belong, until everyone is welcomed, until everyone is loved, until everyone is home. So as we think about a world that works for everyone, we must ask ourselves a difficult question. Who is included in my everyone? Who do I unconsciously leave outside the circle? Where have I confused difference with danger? Where have I mistaken unfamiliarity with threat? If all humanity is divinely awakening to itself, then every encounter becomes sacred. Every person becomes a teacher. Every relationship becomes an opportunity. And every act of compassion becomes spiritual practice. We belong to one another. We rise together. We heal together. We awaken together. And in the words of Ram Dass, ultimately, we are all just walking each other home. So if you would please join me in prayer. Practitioners and ministers present, please rise and join me in consciousness. There is one life, one love, one infinite presence expressing through all creation. I know that this life lives equally in every person. No one is outside of divine love. No one is outside of sacred belonging. I affirm today an expanded heart, a softened judgment, a deeper compassion. I release the impulse to divide, exclude, and other. I embrace the spiritual truth of unity in diversity. May we become bridge builders. May we become peacemakers. May we become living expressions of love. I give thanks for this beloved community and for the sacred work we do together. We anchor this together by saying, and so it is, and so I am, and so we are.